Hi friends, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scudig or St. Croix River, the traditional territory of the Passamaquoddy, and I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a simple stamping card for you with one little piece of die cutting, which you can substitute if you don't have a die cut machine, and I'll mention that as we go along. If I forget, just remind me. And so we'll get right to our little mini class that we're going to do with this card today. So let me switch my view here. And here we go. So how I decided to use this particular stamp set, which is called Stamped with Love, is earlier this week on Monday, I posted pictures of 2 stamp sets on my Facebook page, Julie's Craft Attic, and I asked people which one they'd like me to use in my project this week. I did that last week with a couple of papers, and that was a lot of fun. And people voted, and this is the stamp set that actually won. So I thought, great, let's create something with this. So this morning I made up a quick card, and I like to keep my cards normally as simple as I can because I prefer that way of stamping. It's easy to make multiples and so on. And also I think that simple can be really beautiful. So whether you're a beginner or a seasoned crafter, you should be able to make this card without too much trouble. So here is the card that I made. So it only uses one color of ink. And I have the whole supply list on my blog post. If you click through where it says learn more, right in this post, you can get to my blog, and I've got information on the items that I use there and the whole supply list. And in fact, if you're interested in ordering the supplies that you need to make this card, if you place an order that is at least $75 before tax and shipping, because it's Celebration, you actually get to choose a free item, a special free item that's only available through getting it free during Celebration, so it won't be available later and it hasn't been available before. But you can choose one for every $75 spend that you make. So it's a really cool time to stock up on whatever you need, whether it's the supplies for this card or maybe it's just adhesives and cardstock or ink pads, something really basic that you can use all the time. It's a great time to stock up and get more for less. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start our project. So the first thing that I did to get this project ready was I actually cut a piece of basic white cardstock, and Stampin' Up! Has wonderfully smooth basic white cardstock, so it's special for stamping and is really good for the resolution of the stamps. And I cut this to be, let me see, I will measure it for you because I can't remember exactly the measurements here. So it was 2 3/4 by 4. So that's how big that one is. And what we're going to do is we're just going to stamp this post box, which I think is adorable. I'm a letter writer. I've had pen pals since I was 10 years old, and I love writing letters and sending letters or cards to people. So we are going to use that lovely little post box, and I'm going to use a large block. Now I think that this block here, which is just out of a kit, so it's one you get free included with the kit, I think it would only just fit it if that's what you have. But since I do have the larger block, and this is block E, I'm going to use that. But for most of my stamping, I just use those little blocks that come right in a kit. If you've never stamped before, a kit is a great way to start because everything you need, including all the adhesives, the stamps, all the paper pieces, ribbons, anything that you need for the card are right in there. All you have to add is scissors. So it's a really good way to get started and just give it a try. If you want to know where all the kits are, usually we have more than 25, sometimes more than 30 available at any given time. So just shoot me off a message and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction for those. So we're going to use Cherry Cobbler as our ink today. And I'm quite happy to use this ink because I usually just find it's used a lot at Christmas and not otherwise. So I'm really happy to use this today. And it's really nice to be able to make a card with a stamp set that can be used at many times of the year. There you can see I've really loaded that up with ink. And we're going to stamp it really close to the top of our piece of paper. And just because of where my phone is located, which is my camera, I'm just going to move that down a little bit so I can see it better. Let's see, so we want it fairly close to the top. And just make sure that you give it a good pressing all over the image, not just at the top or the bottom or just in the middle, but the whole thing. That's why I'm holding it down for about, I don't know, 8 or 10 seconds, I find, and then the ink will have a lot of time to just kind of transfer. And look at that nice image. So really good resolution there. So this post box, it would be really fun to color it in, but that would take a long time, and not everybody wants to do that. And I don't always want to do that when I make a card either. So today I just decided to keep it simple. So the next thing we're going to do is stamp our sentiment, and that shows you what I was talking about. So you've got I like you and love you always, which could be for a birthday, could be Valentine's Day, a wedding, an anniversary, an engagement, could be just saying hello to a friend. So I really like that this is useful any time of year. You also have this copyright stamp for Stampin' Up. And if you're going to sell your cards, Stampin' Up requires that you acknowledge the image is their property. And so you need to stamp that on the back. So that's a really good one to have. You've got this little heart as well, hand stamped especially for, so you can put that like on the back of your card or incorporate it into the front. You've got these nice letters and this, so you get a card. So I think this is kind of cute. It makes it a little cheeky if you have the tendency to be a little bit whimsical with your cards. You can say, I like you, so you get a card. So it's kind of fun to do that too. But we're going to use today, love you always. All right. So maybe you can let me know in the comments, do you like simple cards as well? Or do you prefer the really complicated ones? I think there's a place for both, but most of the cards I make are pretty simple. I like to keep my stamping simple so that anybody can do it. And I've found that people of almost every age and every background can do it, which is great. I like that about a hobby. I think it makes it really, really good when you can connect with people that way. And then you can give the card away at the end. It's just so much fun. And I find I make new friends through the Stampin' Up community and through my in-person classes as well. Oh, speaking of classes, I do have my latest roster of classes. I just put them up yesterday or the day before, and they are ready to go. So you can click through. There's a link to browse my classes right in this post, and you can have a look. The online ones are available anywhere in Canada. So they are available to you if you're interested. And I'm just going to show you this chamois. This is called the Simply Chamois. You can see I've used it a lot. And for most of Stampin' Up's inks, any of them that are sold in the packaging like this, they are water soluble. So you just wet this special material down that you get from Stampin' Up. Again, it's the Simply Chamois. And you just stamp into it. You can kind of squish your stamps around like this and it gets them clean for you. So I find that really good. No chemicals needed. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make this little decorative edge on our sentiment. So this is a really old technique. One of the first ones I think I learned as a card maker. And it's one of the most useful because you don't have to have die cut machines or anything like that. You just cut in. So I'm just cutting in, I don't know, maybe a 1/2 inch or so from each edge, somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. You can decide whatever makes sense for you. And then I cut from each corner right into that space in the middle. Okay, so it makes a really, really decorative edge. I love that. And here we go. Let's do the other one as well. So I'd love to hear where you're watching from today. And yeah, if you like simple cards, complicated cards, all of the above. And if there's any new crafters out there or someone who hasn't tried it before, I'd love to hear from you too and to hear what you think of the project today. I just love card making because it's such a good connection with people. You connect when you're in a class and then also when you give the card away. So it's kind of this gift of friendship almost that connects you with people all the time. through the actual doing of it and then the sending of your card or handing it to someone as well. Okay, so here's what that looks like with that simple couple of cuts. So very cute. This paper, by the way, is called Bubble Bath. So it's kind of a pink with a little bit of a mauve in it, and it's actually very like this background paper. So that's why I chose it. If you're looking for the dimensions on this pink paper, it is going to be, let me see, 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. So 2 3/4 long, 1 1/4 high. Okay, so that's our stamping. We're all done there. So now we're going to start putting the card together. So let's start inside. So here's what I've got inside. And this little piece on the bottom is just from our decorative paper. It's a piece that I actually had to cut off when I was making the panel for the card, and it was just right to put on the bottom. So this one here, this piece is half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cherry cobbler cardstock. And we are going to put a panel inside that's the basic white. It is 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm going to stick that right inside. And you can see all these pieces are pre-cut for you, and that's basically what you would get if you signed up for a class with me. And most of my classes also include a goodie bag of other product that you can keep using after the class. So additional paper or ribbons or embellishments or whatever, consumable products like that, not the stamp set usually, but things that anybody can use. So let's put that in there. And then we're going to put this little piece of paper in. And then I'll show you what kind of paper that actually is, because it's a really cool one. And it was just released online as opposed to in a catalog. So some people may not have seen it if they haven't looked online too much. There are a lot of things releasing just online these days, as well as a separate bunch of things that are in the catalog and online. So I'd encourage you to go to the Stampin' Up! Website. I've got a shopping link right in this post, and you can see all the new stuff. Because you might miss it if you're only looking in the catalog. There's probably twice as much new stuff online. So there we go. That just gives it a little decoration. You could also stamp a sentiment inside if you wanted. I usually like to write my own notes in cards and keep them flexible so I could use this for whatever occasion I want if I just made it and didn't want to use it right away. But you can certainly stamp inside as well. Okay, so we've got that part done. So now let's make the front. So I want to show you this beautiful paper here. So this paper is part of this package, which is Iconic Celebrations, and it comes in 6x6 format, and it has different patterns, as you can see, that are useful all year. So all kinds of things, everything from champagne glasses to stripes and plaids. This would be a great New Year one or a wedding thing, something like that. More stripes. Let's see what else we've got in here. I'm just going to open these up a little. Doves. So that could be good for New Year. There's some confetti. Oh yeah, and we've got some of these nice candy canes, pumpkins, and trees. And then I'm just going to flip this all over so you can see there's something on the back as well. So we've got snowflakes, we've got bits of greenery, stars, trees, more different stars. Oh, there's birthday candles. That's good. We've got leaves. We've got berries, I think that is. And there's the hearts that we're using today. And you can just see, like, it's all year round you can use this paper. So it can be very useful. And again, it is called Iconic Celebrations paper, if you're looking for that. So it's pretty nice. And this is the pattern that we're going to use here today. It has champagne glasses on the back. Oh, hi, Kathy. Glad you could join today. Yeah, I'm just using this Stamped with Love stamp set that everybody voted on my page. So I should invite everybody as well. If you're interested in voting for what I will use next week, go to my Facebook page, Julie's Craft Attic. Sometime next week between Monday and Wednesday, I'll try to post on Monday a couple of options for what I could use in my next week's project online. And you can vote, and whatever wins, I will use in my project next week. So there's our nice background. Isn't that pretty? So it's got Moody Mauve here. That's what that color is. The background looks like Bubble Bath to me. And then we've got Cherry Cobbler as the main dark red color. So next what we're going to do is we're going to add some glimmer paper. This is called Festive Glimmer Paper. It comes in 3 colors. There's a couple of different greens. I think they're Garden Green and Granny Apple Green. And this one is the Cherry Cobbler. And I love it because you know what glitter can be like in your house. It can cause a major glitter storm. But here, the paper has the glitter right in it. So you will not have a glitter storm in your house. And I love that. Oh, lovely paper package. Yes, Ruby, I agree. Yeah, it's got all kinds of cool things in it. So this one I made with my 1 die cut for this card, and it's using perennial postage dies. So look at all the dies you get. So the largest one that you see does not work in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You need the larger one, but every other die does work in the mini machine. So it's a really good package, and I think it's a really useful one. I've used it on so many different cards. So this is the second largest one. So this die would work in the mini. And I just made that ahead to save a little time. And that's again with the Festive Glimmer paper. So that will go on. And we're going to put our basic white piece here on top of it. So let's adhere that first. And then we'll go on to putting the rest of the card together. So I tried to keep the supplies fairly simple for this. If you click through to my blog where it says learn more, you can find the whole supply list, and you'll see it's not very long for this card. You really don't need a lot of things to make it. And yeah, no coloring. I just did the outline, and I think it looks really cute as is. And what we're going to do here is we're going to put some dimensionals on the back. And I really recommend these. I may have said this last week, I can't remember, but I received a number of handmade cards at Christmas, and I love that. People put a lot of work into them. But you know what? 2 of them fell apart by the time Christmas came. And that's because their adhesives were not good. So if you buy cheap adhesives, I would say it's kind of the same as buying, if you buy your adhesives in the dollar store, it's kind of the same as buying your photo paper that you print on for your photos in the dollar store. You really get what you pay for, and it doesn't last very well. So if you want to make a product that's going to last, I would suggest using really good adhesives, and Stampin' Up! Has a bunch of them. I can help you with that if you need any advice on that as well. We are going to take our sentiment, and we're going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back. And I'm just going to put it a little bit over the bottom of the post box, just to kind of unify the image together. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. We have one more little touch to add, and that's it. So you've got this little heart here. So you could stamp this heart, which is really tiny, and cut it out. I think that'd be kind of a frig to do that though. Or what you can do is take a leftover bit of this paper that I cut off to make this panel and just cut out one of the red hearts. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take it right out of the bottom here, and we're going to cut it out pretty quickly. And it takes just a couple of minutes. And some of you, if you have die cut machines and you like to do die cutting, you might have a die cut heart already that you could just cut out instead of cutting this. But this one is already the right color. It is the same style of heart, and it's just really convenient to use that. Okay, so there's the little heart. So I just did a really quick cut of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a piece of a dimensional to just adhere it right there on the letter. So you could stick it down with multi-purpose liquid glue if you don't want to pop it up. That's okay. I would like to have it with a little bit of dimension here. So I'm using little mini dimensionals, and I cut 1/4 of one. So it's really small. So if you find that it's too hard to do this, not everybody is able to do that. then feel free to just use a little bit of the liquid glue. But if you can manage, I think the effect is kind of nice for this. So let's see. Yeah, I like the little red heart too, Ruby. Yeah, I just think it adds a little extra something. There are heart embellishments that Stampin' Up! Makes, but they're out of stock right now, and they won't be back until March, I think, because everybody bought them for Valentine's Day. They're really cute, but I thought, well, we can just use one from the paper. So there we go. All right, so that is our project for today. I hope you enjoyed this stamp set, which is called Stamped with Love. If you don't have a demonstrator and you're looking to take a class or you'd like to buy some supplies, I'd be very happy to help you out. Just send me off a little message, and otherwise, I hope you have a wonderfully crafty week. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.